Bam. Hi, hello, everybody. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Hope everybody's doing well, feeling well. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to just the Friday, the weekend. Lady Foxheart, Marcos, Austin, Pendragon, the High Wario, Fire Boom. What's going on? I hope everybody's doing all right. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good beginning of the weekend so far. Somber, Sentinel, hello. Somber, thank you so much. And the home with a tier 1 subscribe for 50 months. Will Zelda copy link or save the link in Echo of Wisdom? So Somber, what you're saying is, will she copy and paste link? Your weekend, my weekday, also my beginning of my vacation. I started my vacation today, so I am off until not this Monday, the following Monday. Hope to have a good time. This is also going to be the second to last stream for a little while, so we're going to stream today, obviously. We're going to stream tomorrow for Community Day. I might run a little long for Community Day since it's going to be the last stream for a week. And then I'm going to take the week off and then just relax and try to do things without the streaming schedule in mind. It's going to be kind of weird. It's going to be kind of awkward. And I may actually make like a YouTube video or something. I don't really do that. So maybe I'll make a couple of YouTube videos about something. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But just because I have a feeling I'm going to like want to make something. But I feel like I have to. I feel like every once in a while I have to make sure that I don't stream. Like if I make a schedule to not do something, just you don't want to burn out. You don't want to do something. Even if you love something, you don't want to do it so much that you feel like you're forcing yourself to do it. So I was like, you know what? I'll probably gonna end up making a YouTube video just because I want to do something. And thank you so much, CT, dropping the gift sub to Lady Foxheart. Thank you so much, CT. I appreciate that. That triggers a hype train. So if you've got some bits or something, or if you've got Prime subs that you haven't used yet, feel free to do so now. Hang on. The 90-degree weather is a good indication. Yeah, it's brutal. I think it's like 95 right now. It says it's 92, but I'm pretty sure it's a little hotter. And then the next couple of days, I think it's supposed to be 97 here. It's crazy. Found my main suit. Oh wait, hold on. Let me go back up. An ad for Mio. Austin, an ad for Mio. Is that the drink, the liquid that you pour into your water to make it flavorful, or is that game that's coming out? What's that game called? Like Missing in Orbit or something? It's Zelda 2. It's the 80s Elden Ring. I mean, the way people talk about it sure is. It's Daisy. Hey, peeps, found my main suitcase in a closet for my Japan trip, so now I just need to find another smaller one to put inside it. Yeah, you gotta pack the smaller suitcase and put that in the bigger suitcase. So now you've got another suitcase for all the souvenirs that you buy, and all of the Super Famicom games you're gonna pick up for me. What would I want? Oh no! Wait, you gotta get my yukata. I need a yukata from you. There we go. YouTube video. Are you feeling okay? Howdy, fellow vacation taker. Gonna play some Jackbox with friends tonight. Very, very good. Did a leaker get exposed? I don't think so. You could wear a GoPro and record yourself going around buying stuff like Pat the NES Punk uses. Oh, well, that's different because that's like flea market madness. I don't know. I feel like the flea markets don't even work anymore, so it's not really the same experience. I mean, we used to do all of that stuff with Too Many Games. We used to do the videos where you'd film everything and you try and get a shot of everything. I think for the most part now that's not something that I don't think John and them have done that for a few years now. I know that I don't really do that. Plus, there's not millions, but there's dozens of people that do that. That's after an event, I like going and watching people's reactions. I've been watching a bunch of reaction videos to Metroid, to Zelda, One of the things I like to do after too many games is I play the little game where I watch other people's videos and see their experiences, and then I look to see if I can see myself in the background. And you'd be surprised, I actually do see myself in the background kind of a lot, because I do spend a lot of time just walking around TMG. Gonna be real toasty at oh my god, yeah, it is too. Missing an orbit gum. Emotional journey game of the year. Piero may or may not have outed their source. That's the plan. First one, the water changer. What's this? First one, the water changer. Although I'm excited for the Mio game. Oh, it really was the water changer. Austin, I was making a joke. I was pretty sure it was the game. That's funny. It actually was the water changing, the water flavor stuff. That's hysterical. I literally thought it was the game. I wish I could go to TMG. I mean, you got a week. You got a week to figure it out. You know what I mean? Piero, in an attempt to distance himself from the Nintendo YouTube hack leak, is saying he gets his leak info from a Nintendo Japan employee, which was a stupid thing to admit to. Hey Ryan, yeah, hello. Didn't something just come out where there was like somebody that was getting the information from a Nintendo store worker? Is that the Pioro thing? Yeah, from a Nintendo Japan employee. I'm an idiot. I just read that. Yeah, that's what was happening. I thought it was a Nintendo New York thing. We're bunking together then. I don't know why I thought it was a Nintendo New York thing. Yeah, is that what it is? It's like they get the videos for what they're going to show, and then the employees were watching it, and basically just like an employee supposedly was telling them what was in the thing. I mean, it's a clever leak, but I feel like that's easily traceable. Just no doubt. But Lilac, what if I bring my Switch? Definitely looking forward to the Mio game because it reminds me of Ori. Mio, and it's gonna be Austin. It's gonna be Mio and the hard to see woods. Mio and the hard to see woods. Oh, I am the Switch. Oh, Donkey Kong. Okay, ew. Putting some links in stream topics. I'm in the wrong thingy. Is that the Pioro? That's the thing. So him saying that out loud on Twitter, which from the Yuzu lawsuit, we know Nintendo legal monitors, was not a smart thing to post. Yeah, that's kind of interesting that you would say that. I mean, that, you know what that is, Dragoon? That's basically, if that's all legit, that's basically panicking and throwing someone under the bus. That's exactly what that is. That is the police arrest the drug dealer, and the first thing out of the drug dealer's mouth is, "I'll tell you where I get it from." That is really what that is. I miss being here. Just sleep schedule be all like, "Hey, Greg's live." No, me sleep. Well, you can just put the stream on and then sleep to it. I used to have a theory that CBS, that they used to show a lot of, it was like Channel 3 over here. I used to have a theory that they used to show shows that had appeal for like older people, and the reason was older people would watch TV and they would fall asleep, but the TV would stay on. So that's how their shows were getting so popular, because they had some really popular shows that were terrible. And I used to always wonder, like, how are people watching these shows? And it's like, no, they're not. They put in things that appeal to old people, and then they fall asleep in front of the television, so it looks like they're watching a lot of TV. I mean, this is back in the day of network TV. So how about that no Choco breeding Quadramagic? Yeah, that was kind of wild. I didn't know. To be honest, you know what's crazy, Lilac? There's probably tons of things like that in old games, and I just never really had the mindset to look for a lot of that stuff. If I didn't see it in a Game Pro or a Nintendo Power, I mean, Nintendo Power wouldn't show anything like that, but like Game Pro, EGM, if I didn't see anything like that there, or somebody didn't tell me about it, there's a lot of stuff that I just never really paid attention to. You know, so yeah, that's kind of funny that's a thing that's existed since the original game, and I just never saw it. I'm actually going through Tactics right now. I'm going through Tactics on my PSP, War of the Lions. And it's making me look up stuff like to see what secrets were in that game, and there's a bunch of stuff in that game that I didn't even know, and I love that game. And there's just a bunch of things that I had never seen before because they're very specific things you have to do, and I never really did any of that stuff. My notifications, thought it was funny to not notify that you were streaming. Well, your notifications deserve a beating. How about that? Hi, Ronan. And hi, everybody, if I have not said hello to you. Shadow of the Erd Tree Let's Play. Let's go. Oh, no way. No way. They just said that to Jason Schreier for an article. But what it does tell me is Nintendo is in the background going after people for the YouTube channel leak hack stuff. I may have gotten wind of it, as you're saying, rather than get in trouble for getting info from an employee and not a thief. Yeah, so, I mean, that's... Yeah, at the same time, you're kind of right, because it seems way more nefarious to think that he's hacking the system and, literally hacking the system. Like, he's breaking in and he's stealing information, or they're stealing information. It probably does sort of throw them off to say, yeah, I'm getting it from an employee. And it's like, okay, that's an easy... The problem now is that they now have to investigate, and they need to figure out who the employee is, probably. So, I don't know what the thing is there. I can't do that. I'm on mobile. They didn't realize that Jason Schreier was going to include it in the article. A little buggy. Which he notified them of. Twitch no longer tells me when people are live, so I just end up not knowing. Well, Somber, then you just have to be here all the time and just wait for me. Just have the channel open all the time and just wait for me to go live. Getting it from an employee, you get a slap on the wrist and the employee gets fired. Get it from a thief and you're dealing with stolen goods and info now, and that is a crime. And the problem is you're getting it from an employee. So what happens if the employee doesn't come forward, or if they don't know? It's like, oh, that kind of, I feel bad for. I mean, I don't know what their rules are about collective punishment, right? If they're, do you think Nintendo has any recourse to say, well, listen, somebody come forward and we're just going to let everybody go? Because it's that big of a deal for them, which it is a big deal. It is kind of a big deal. Piora seems to have thrown someone under the bus to save his own ass. I don't know much about that. Yeah, that's all. That's as far as I know. They would definitely break some labor law. Yeah, I know that the labor law. Well, the thing is, Wario, the reason I ask is because it's the Nintendo Japan store, and their labor laws are different anyway. So they might not even have something about collective punishment. They might not. They might be able to just straight up say, listen, this falls under a non-disclosure issue, where we have a leaker that is leaking information, and and the thing is, leaked information could argue. I don't know that it actually does, but I would imagine that they can argue that it affects their bottom line, because this information, when these directs and stuff happen, it's important, because it's considered advertising. It generates buzz when these announcements happen and they're all of a sudden. So when you leak that stuff and you kill the hype for some of these things, they could theoretically argue that it hurts the revenue of that thing, that people are not as interested in it because they're not as excited about it. So they could argue that. So realistically, they could say, listen, we've got an NDA problem. We've got a leaker who's leaking information, and that information getting out is causing a problem. It's causing a financial problem. They just execute someone. But if I'm here waiting for you to be live, I'll miss SGB and miss more of your stuff. You can have multiple windows open. You have multiple tabs. Hey, Senshin. I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're feeling well. Welcome for the first time. We're just chatting for a little bit, and then we're gonna jump into Zelda 2, just because I've played it a billion times. We beat Zelda 1 yesterday because I just felt like it. So we're gonna play Zelda 2. And Sally, I see your Gonzalez Sue. Looking forward to playing Thousand Year Door remake this weekend. It's so good. It's so good. Japanese companies are legally not allowed to do mass firings unless they can prove to the government that there is no other way for them to stay afloat. And I wonder if in this situation, like, first of all, I do wonder if they actually do care about it. Like, I'm just assuming that they're going to care this much about it, but assuming that they do actually care that much about it, I do wonder if they can argue that, would you say, there's no other way for them to stay afloat. Like, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't think they're going to argue that, listen, we're running out of money. we're going to go under. But I do wonder if they can say that unless somebody comes forward, we can't tell for sure. So we just need to, I mean, I'm sure they're going to change their procedure. If anything else, I'm sure they're going to change the way that they do things, and they're going to limit who sees what. To be honest, I always kind of wondered that about the Nintendo store in New York specifically. I always kind of wondered, whenever you watch those events, the employees aren't going crazy, right? The employees aren't the ones screaming. They're always really relaxed. If you go back and you watch like the most recent one, you go all the way back and you watch the original Metroid Prime 4 video, the employees are really relaxed. And they never really seem like, they're not excited about whatever's being announced. So I always kind of wonder if it's because the employees already saw the video. Maybe they already got to see it, and they're like, listen, now you can react to it, and then when the stores actually open, you can't tell anybody. You know what I mean? And that's so that they can do their job. Because I'll tell you what, if I worked at the Nintendo store and I was seeing those announcements at the same time as everybody else, there's a good chance I'm not doing my job. There's a good chance I've got a lot of work to do and it's not getting done until the video's over. So I do wonder if there's a thing where they show the employee at the beginning of the day, like, listen, this event's going to go on. It's going to be in a few hours. We're going to open up. We give you access to watch the video first so that you can be excited on your own. But then when we're actually open, you do your job. God, I would get a job at the Nintendo store just for that. Perfect Dark on the Switch. I did hear that there's some issues with it. So let me know when you, Austin, when you play it. Let me know what you think of it, because I did hear people saying that there were some technical things. I mean, there's always kind of like, I think there was with GoldenEye too. So, didn't someone pass out during the Metro Prime 4? Did they? I know there was one video that I saw where there was this guy yelling and he was very annoying. For the recent Metroid Prime video, the dude was very annoying. Yeah, I think they did that at the Nintendo store. As someone who's been at the NYC store, it's pretty bare bones. If you watch the Smash Everyone Is Here trailer, they're reacting like okay, so in that video they are. April Samurai, hello. And the employees are probably already seen it, or maybe some employees just work for Nintendo, but aren't exactly fans of the brand. I mean, would I even want to work at the Nintendo store? You know, that's like, I mean, working at a store as specific as Nintendo, and then you don't even like Nintendo games, especially if you don't like video games, that'd be like me working at the Twilight Princess store. You know, it's like, ew, I don't even want to be here. Imagine being assigned cashier duty and you can't watch the video. A job is a job. Look, it's a paycheck. I guess. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess. Maybe that's the point, though. Maybe the point is that you don't want employees who are crazy about Nintendo because they're going to steal everything. Maybe that's exactly what you want. From what I gather, they don't punish the team because they're good at finding the leaker once they know to look for one. Now that they know they have one this big, I suspect a lot of internal investigating is going to happen. Pretty sure Nintendo's got snipers on standby to take care of employees. But you know what they do? KH, they snipe one employee and then they wait for the next direct. And if something still gets leaked, they know they got the wrong one. So they just pick another one. I played it a little and I haven't noticed much wrong. The only difference is that I can only put 4 Sims in a match instead of 8, which I find odd. Interesting. The Twilight Princess store, they sell Midnas. I hate Nintendo. Somehow I'm the manager. But yeah, I wonder if that's why. That would actually make a lot of sense that you would hire somebody who's less interested, because they're not going to try and steal everything. They're not going to leak everything. They're not going to be overly excited when these events happen so that they can continue to do their job. That is kind of fascinating. Payday will result in a good chunk of the money going back to the Nintendo. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Marcos, they could probably pay me in store credit. And that's it. And I'd be fine. If I was Pierre's leaker, I'd be sweating bullets right now. Let's see if they pop up during the next event and see if they leak anything. Nintendo snipes an employee every time they diss Twilight Princess. Yeah, well, I'm not afraid of them. Okay, we're good. We're good. Time to pick a different corpse. I mean, potential leaker. 5% discount for new Nintendo games? Maybe they... No, maybe... Oh, my God. What if your paycheck, Marcos, from the Nintendo store is just gold coins? It's just... You just get... Instead of like a $300 paycheck, you just get 30,000 Nintendo gold points. I mean... Listen. I might take it. If you say PlayStation in a Nintendo store, your bomb collar goes off. They also, Wario, your bomb collar is also connected to the bomb collar on another employee, so that when your collar explodes, they also blow up somebody else's. So that makes sure that the employees check each other. If you get 6 gold coins, you can fight Wario, but it's just a bad Reggie cosplay. Yeah, if it was a side job on my regular job, sure. I think I wouldn't want gold coins. I would definitely want store credit. I would want store credit because then I can also buy games that I don't like and then sell those for money. Like Battle Royale 2. Is that what Battle Royale 2 did? There was a movie I remember in the 80s. I don't think it was called The Dead Zone. There was a movie a long time ago that did that. That's where I got that idea from. Where that's what it was. It was a prison. It was a prison where everybody had an explosive collar, but then the collar was remotely attached to someone else's collar. So then if somebody did one, Dead Zone is Dragon Ball. If somebody did something and they blew up the collar, it also killed the other person so that people would make sure that they were okay. Also, if the collars got more than like 1,000 feet from each other, both collars would blow up. So it was so that the prisoners would also discourage each other from escaping, because if you escaped and you made it out too far, both people would die. Like I don't remember what the name of the movie was. Yeah. Oh my God. Now I want to know if you guys find out the name of that movie. Let me know what it was. It was an 80s movie. That's how far back that idea goes. There was an early movie. I think it was an 80s movie called Dead Zone, but I don't think it was that. I don't think that was the movie. Whenever I think of bomb collars, I think of the Running Man. Running Man didn't have bomb collars though. No, Running Man didn't have bomb. I love that movie. No, Running Man didn't have bomb collars. They would just put them in the game, and because the point of it was for them to escape. The point of it was for them to try and escape, and then they would have to escape the runners, or they would have to escape the what were they called? They weren't called catchers. Stalkers. They were called stalkers. They would have to escape the stalkers, and then but then Ben Richards. A fun fact. My early internet days, my main like email and stuff was Ben Richards, and no one knew what it was. It was the Running Man. I always named it Ben Richards because I named my characters in FPS games Ben Richards because I wasn't good at FPS games. So all I would do was run around and shoot people with a shotgun. If you put me in an FPS game and I had a shotgun, that's all I did is I would run around and I would shoot people with the shotgun up close because my aim was ass because I didn't play FPS games. So then I started going. I was joking around saying that I was the Running Man, because that was my gag. And the Running Man in the movie, his name was Ben Richards. So that became sort of my... Ben Richards actually for a short time was my gamer tag. And that was the idea, is that I would go and I would just run around with a shotgun and I would shoot people. Wedlock? There's no way. Wait, Wedlock? That can't possibly be the movie. That sounds way different. Movie? Oh, wait, was it Deadlock? It might have been Deadlock. This says Wedlock, but wait, this is something different, I think. No, he's got a collar. I didn't remember it being attached to a woman though. Each inmate is a known partner. It has an unknown partner. When the two are separated by more than 100 yards, an explosive collar kills both inmates. That's it. Yeah, okay, so it's wedlock. Maybe I thought it was deadlock. Wedlock? That's so weird. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Was Deadlock a movie? Deadlock was a movie from... Okay, so Deadlock was a movie from the 70s and then again in 2021. Okay. So Wedlock is the name of the movie. That's it. I know someone brought this up. Mario Party Jamboree is confirmed. There's no has confirmed that there is pro controller support, so you can turn off motion control minigames. Just need them to confirm online play with the boards, and we'll be good. I almost forgot. You want to hear something really stupid? Sonic X Shadow Gen is going to have a special PS5 only. I saw that it was like a special animation or something. That's kind of weird. I wonder why they would do that. I mean, not that it, I don't know. From a preservation standpoint, it's kind of weird, but I think I saw you said that it's just going to be on YouTube anyway. I accidentally had something similar. My old screen was named Mr. L. Then Super Paper Mario came out, and I was like, oh, Luigi ripped me off. And it's funny because we have someone that comes in here named Mr. L. Deadlock is that good Battlestar Galactica game. Oh, is it really? Because Sega is dumb. If I had a nickel for every time they used exploding collars in prisons. Wait, I actually have a surprising number of nickels. I mean, yeah, the concept of a prison that kills you has always been, there's always been something like that. Andor, the Star Wars show on Disney Plus, Andor has a great prison. Well, it's a horrible prison, but it's a terrific prison where the floor is electrified. And oh my God, it's that whole arc in that show. I mean, that whole show. By the way, I know that there's like a Star Wars burnout going on with a lot of people. Andor is a hard recommend, but that is even if you are not, especially if you're not big into Star Wars. I would actually say if you're not big into the lightsabers and all of that stuff, hard recommend Andor. It's incredibly good, and it's definitely not what you're expecting out of a Star Wars show. It's got a lot of Star Warsiness to it, absolutely, but the things that are in that show are phenomenal. Dead Man Wonderland, that's an anime, right? Concept was also Fallout New Vegas and the Sierra Madre DLC. What was my favorite game of the Direct? It's got to be Metroid Prime 4. I know that it's very basic. Other than Metroid Prime 4, okay, let's exclude Metroid Prime 4, and I'm going to exclude Zelda. I will remove Zelda from it. Other than that, what did I think was the best, was great from the game? I mean, the Marvel announcement is pretty awesome. I was very happy that Dragon Quest 1 is being remade, particularly. For me, it was Mario and Luigi, Ace Attorney Investigations, Mario Luigi, my DK, was this my DK bias? 13 years? Oh. There was, I did like that night game. What the hell was that night game? What was it, like Renair or something? What the hell was that game called? I thought that was kind of nice. I kind of like that. Donate Marvel so we can have community. Well, let's wait and see, because we need to see what's happening with this Marvel thing. Zelda, I'm cautiously optimistic about. Metroid and Mario, I'm nothing but excited for. See, the Zelda game, I'm very excited for. I was gonna say I was hard excited, but I'm not. That sounded weird. No, I'm very excited for the Zelda game. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. It's something that I've argued about with Zelda games, with the franchise, for a very long time, is that I feel like they're afraid to do certain things because it's going to feel too different. Like, I was very excited that they did this sort of open world Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom thing, but it's tough for them to do something else. It's, the last time they tried to do something different was something like Cadence of Hyrule, and they didn't do it, somebody else did it. So I like for them to sort of branch out, and I think that one thing that I've always said was the sort of fast-paced beat 'em up, or a Souls-like beat 'em up, which is technically a beat 'em up, or a Souls-like game where Ganon is the character, right? It's a world where Ganondorf gets the Triforce of Courage instead. So, or Ganondorf gets the Triforce of Power, but the circumstances make Ganondorf the good guy, and then they're using like wisdom and courage in an evil way. Like you could have a whole thing where the royal family at that time was very different. So then the Ganon game turns into either a something. Actually, you could do something like God of War, where you can have him with a big heavy sword, so the game plays more like a Dark Souls type game, or you can have him with blades or something where he moves much faster, right? His sort of Gerudo training, and he moves much faster. And then you would have a 100% action-based game in the world of The Legend of Zelda. It's a different scenario. It's a different version where Ganon with the I'm describing Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors it doesn't have, but that's the thing. Hyrule Warriors is a Muso, where it's just wave after wave of enemy, right? That's how Hyrule Warriors works. I'm talking about something that's either a bit more like Dark Souls, or at the very least a bit more toned down, like a Bayonetta or a Devil May Cry, where it's just fewer enemies. That's why I say God of War. I think God of War is the best example, where the axe is sort of give him his trident as so like his bigger, slower weapon is the trident, and that's like the heavy swings and everything, and then you have blades or swords or something, and then that's the faster weapon. And it'd be like God of War, where if you've got the blades, he's really quick, and then if you've got the axe, he's a bit more lumbering. He's not exactly Dark Souls slow in God of War, but that'd be an interesting way to do that, and it'd be an interesting way to explore a different type of game. It would be so it would be Ganondorf, but then he would have a special where he transforms, and he transforms into Pig Ganon for a while. Like that would be like a power up. What's the rage thing that Kratos has? Remember with the rage, and then he gets all crazy strong and everything? That's his devil trigger or whatever. And then that's Pig Boss Ganon. And he just goes off, right? He drops the weapons and he just goes ballistic. Spartan rage, thank you. And he just goes ballistic. And then but that's his transformation. You could say like, oh, it's the influence of the Triforce or something. It builds up and blah blah blah. Like the standard video game fare, right? Oh, quick. I haven't seen Zelda one that can have both open designs and complex dungeons. Link Between Worlds showed it's not impossible. I mean, I would argue that 2D overhead Zelda goes hand in hand with puzzles. I think the problem is just you can't make the puzzles too complicated. So something like a Zelda-driven Zelda game would actually give you the opportunity to have more complex puzzles. And you would say, oh, doesn't feel like a Zelda game because it's too complex, because you've never played a Zelda game like this. That was my problem with Faces of Evil. That was the one that she was in, right? My problem with Faces of Evil was it that one or Wanda Gamelon? Was that it was just the same kind of game. Like, it's like, oh, this is Zelda. You should do something different. Hyrule Warriors is exactly the kind of game you're asking for. You just don't like that kind of gameplay. But again, Hyrule Warriors, no, I feel like I would disagree, because isn't Hyrule Warriors just, I'm gonna say this, but isn't Hyrule Warriors just beat 'em up schlock? Right? It's just Muso games with Linkle and Link and Zelda and Impa and Ganon and a million other characters. I'm talking about an actual character-driven game, and not a Muso game. Not where the point is a map that you have to navigate and areas that you have to beat and 3,000 enemies apiece. Yeah, Age of Calamity, you guys said, has more substance. So maybe that's what I'm not. That's the one that I've never seen. But I played a little bit of Hyrule Warriors, and I was like, it's not for me because it's a Muso type game. I just don't want that. I just don't want a Muso game, because the Muso games, sure, they probably have some story, but I feel like the main draw of those games is just look at all these enemies. It's like, okay, that's fine, but is there like a good story? That's what I care about. She's Wanda Gamelon. Thank you. What are the chances we see other characters in Mario and Luigi like Daisy, Wario, and maybe even the one and only Waluigi finally? I'd be interested to see what they do. I do think that they should expand on that franchise a bit more. It seems Zelda will be more puzzle driven than anything since she's not going to be in Warriors Zelda. Since she's not going to be Warriors Zelda, she can't just swing a sword and instead summon a sword swinger. It has its own story and unique world with some character moments. Dynasty Warriors is different from DMC. Yeah, and that's it. And that's my point, is that I would rather see like can we agree on that a Dynasty Warriors game is very different from a God of War game? I want it to look like God of War. I think that that's a more interesting thing. That's why you say that the royal family was evil. Zelda was the incarnation of the Triforce of Wisdom, and they manipulated her to use her wisdom to be evil, and then she manipulated Link, right, to fight for her. So then they ended up corrupting the kingdom. So now they ended up helping the king be corrupt. So, but then they were imprisoned. After that, they were imprisoned. So Ganon has to basically save Hyrule, and what he has to do is he has to find the original princess and the hero, the bad hero, and he has to rescue them because he needs their help. So then at the end, like, that's a team up with them. And I don't know. I think that obviously we're writing everything in like 20 seconds, but I think that there's an interesting thing there. And I think that it leads to a more action driven Zelda game. So Hilda from Link Between Worlds. No. So the difference with Hilda was Hilda had a different Triforce. Hilda had the Triforce of Power. And then, what the hell was his name? Ravio? That wasn't Ravio. What the hell was his name? He had the Triforce of Wisdom. Right? Wasn't that what happened in that game? God, it's been forever since I played it. Yeah, Hilda had the Triforce of Power, didn't she? It can just be Wind Waker Ganon. 100% DW is vastly different from God of War. Yeah, so I would want the game to look more like a God of War game. I think that that's better. Oh, that coward has not... Yeah, Ravio had wisdom. Thank you. Ravio had wisdom, and then Zelda had power. So, yeah, so that's a bit different. I want Ganon to have power, like he always does, but in a corrupt system, he ends up sort of being... Kind of like the anti-hero. Let's be clear. When I say Ganon is the hero of the game, he's basically the anti-hero. Like somebody said, maybe he's going to take over it because he wants to rule it himself. But ultimately, you would play through the game and you would end up being the hero because you'd inadvertently end up saving Hyrule. There was no low rule Triforce. That's technically not true. They had a Triforce, and the Triforce Wars, they had to destroy it. So then, at the end of the game, they basically wish it back, don't they? Assuming I'm remembering that game correctly, when they get the Triforce in the Hyrule world, isn't the wish that the low rule Triforce has been restored? So now there is a Triforce over there. What's going to stop them from fighting over it again? I have no idea. There's so many Zelda characters. They're so close to Ravioli. Yeah, Dark Link could be a boss in that game. Yeah, Dark Link would 100% be a boss in that game. That's why my overall point of Hyrule Warriors is a lot of the things you ask for. A more unique, not Zelda game with new characters. For characters we know, we just don't like the Musou gameplay. So it's not worth wading through that. You're asking for a more specific... I'm asking for a more specific kind of spinoff. 100%. Again, the other problem, it's not just the Musou problem. It's the fact that the Age of Calamity or at least, again, I'm just talking about Hyrule Warriors. That's very much a, look at all these crazy characters that are here. I don't want a bunch of crazy characters. It's not like you play with 70 different characters in God of War. You play with Kratos and what's his face, and then you switch up a little bit in God of War Ragnarok. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a more story-driven game, not a random ass beat 'em up, not a Musou type game where the point is just to show you 300 enemies on the screen at once. I want there to be legit substance. And I know you're saying Age of Calamity is basically that, but Age of Calamity is also still a Muso game. I just don't want it to be that. Yes, I am asking for a specific game. I mentioned this a while back, a story of a Gerudo Link. Instead of Ganondorf being the only male Gerudo, it's Link. He has to save the princess against all odds, since history tells that the male Gerudo is usually the villain. How about a Ganondorf that invades Kokiri Forest, and baby Link gets found by the Gerudo, and then he gets raised as a male Gerudo. Legend of Zelda with special guest Fabio. They should definitely make a Plankton the villain in Zelda. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's you think the Switch can render 300 enemies? Sure. They're all stick figures, right? Aren't they? Aren't they all stick figures? My more point, you originally we could use a more unique, different Zeldas. When I say Hyrule Warriors, you specified it to your OG question. Oh wait, hold on. Hang on one second. There we go. No. And I'm not Dragoon. I'm not discrediting Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors is a more unique type of game, and I do like that. What I'm saying is that I want more of them. That's why. Hyrule Warriors already exist. I don't want the Ganon game to be another Hyrule Warriors game. I want the Ganon game to be something different. Hey, Omni-Mitch. Just like I don't want another Cadence of Hyrule. Well, I would take another Cadence of Hyrule, but if you ask me for a different type of Zelda game, I'm going to name something other than that. Yeah, I just don't want the Ganon game to be Hyrule Warriors 3. I want it to be Zelda Souls. Right? That's what Zelda Netta. Zelda Netta. No, I think Zelda of War. I think Zelda of War is probably better, right? Probably not Legend of War. Ganonetta. Oh wait, Ganonetta. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Zelda May Cry. Hold on a minute. Ganonetta. Oh no. If only I could create art. Link does BDSM attacks on Ganon. We're going places we shouldn't right now. Wait a minute. Ganonetta. Devil. Ganon May Cry rule. You get a... Come on. Oh, they got art for Ganonetta. Oh, no. Oh, wait. I have... So I'm getting the game started here. I mean, it's not like it's a lot of work to get the game started. But I have a Gonzalez 2 that I owe. Alright, we say we want them to be different. The Zelda game is pretty different. Zelda 2. Gonzalez, ore wa tsuyoi, ore ikara shiruba pointo. Is Ganonetta still dressed with only his hair? Did you see Ganon in Tears of the Kingdom? Yes. To be fair, we say we want them to be different, but most Zelda games are pretty different. Even from Zelda 2, Twilight Princess, ironically, is kind of the exception as it follows. I mean, sort of, but that's but you know that's Zelda 1 is different from Zelda 3. But right, it's not a different kind of game. It's just a different game. That's literally how video games are. They're not going to make the same exact game over and over again. I'm just saying it would be nice to see the franchise branch out in different directions. We already got the top-down overhead adventure. We already got the normal 3D adventure. We got a top-down puzzle game in Cadence of Hyrule. We got the side-scrolling game, right? We got the one side-scrolling game that everybody seems to hate for some reason, which we're going to play in a second here. So why not others? Why not a Zelda game that's more puzzle intensive? Why not a Zelda game that is much more action intensive and not a Muso action? You can have two different kinds of action. It doesn't have to be Muso action. It can be a God of War type game. So why not do that? Why, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out ideas here. I'm just throwing out ideas. What's wrong with Juan the Gamelon? You know my feelings on those games. We're not going to get into it again. We just started this. We did this yesterday. We're not going to get into it. I think that those games have a lot of value, and I think that there is a lot that can be used there. You just have to take whatever it could possibly work and then rebuild the entire game. Yeah, game of the year. There you go. Play the remasters. I played. You're talking about for the CDI games. I played the remasters. I played the ones where they sort of like fixed a bunch of stuff, but they're still those games. It's still the same animations. It's still the same artwork and stuff. I want those games to be completely rebuilt from the ground up. I think that if you take those characters and you rework them in a more toned down way, so they're not overly ridiculous, right? And they can still be ridiculous. Zelda characters are ridiculous. So there are a lot of ridiculous Zelda characters. So they can be silly, but you fix the animations, or you maybe don't have animations at all if you really don't want to do that. You can make better sprites and graphics and backgrounds and gameplay and stuff, and you make the gameplay solid, and you can actually have really solid Metroidvania Zelda type games out of them. I think you can really do that. I think you can build a good experience out of them. Everybody craps on them, and I don't think that it's I think that those games deserve the rap that they have, but I think that there could be something salvageable there. I mean, people are starting to turn around on this game, right? I see tons of people talking about how great this game can be. You played one? No, AGM. I played Wand and Faces, didn't I? I thought I played both of those games. I didn't play Zelda's Adventure. I played both of them. So if they completely changed the game, it could be... No, you would still... Stone, you would still use the same land. You would still use the same premise. You'd still use the same characters. You still use the same combat in the sense that it's a side-scrolling action platformer game with bosses and stuff. You will have to change a lot. You will have to basically change everything about how the game looks. But I think if you do that, I think you end up with a pretty good game. At the very least, you end up with a good premise for a new world for Zelda games to take place in. So you would play Adventures of Link, but not Zelda's Adventure. Zelda's Adventure is atrociously bad. Oh, Apple. The CDI Zelda games. I'm a big defender of the CDI Zelda games. Has someone made a Zelda 2 mod that turns into a Dragon Quest-esque RPG? I don't know, but I do have a Zelda 2 mod that basically overhauls the whole game. Think of the content, though. Oh. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Boodalip. 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 Wait, go back. Go back. Go. How did it go back? Oh, wait, I can't go back. There's no blank space. Oh, is it here? There's no blank space. Beep, 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 beep. Wait, what's happening? Why is that happening? I'm literally hitting the wrong button. So, there we go. That's our guy. That's our guy. That's it. Then you beat this. No, we beat Zelda 1 yesterday. So basic swap, Ganondorf and Hylian, Link being the Gerudo. Ganondorf gets praised and claimed to be the hero due to their connections take over Hyrule and Zelda, while Link has to prove himself every time. For all we know, you're the reincarnation of evil. It's S5 to the power of 8. Yeah, for anybody that's not normally here, I'm a big defender of this game. I think that this game is fantastic. Even back in the day, like this isn't even, oh, I played this a couple of years ago and I think it's awesome. Back in the day, I was like, this game's awesome. I really don't understand why everybody hates it so much. The only thing, I say this about this game all the time, this game, if you don't show this game respect, this game will disrespect you at every possible chance. Yeah, I like it. It doesn't like me, though. Yeah, I like this game. I think that it's terrific. I think that it's a lot of fun. I mean, I am being legit when I say that the game, if you play this game and you don't sort of respect it, it's going to beat you up. Sending 500-page essay as to why he's wrong. I mean, I've got a video up. I did an actual YouTube video a few years ago about why. Oh, come on. About why it's a fine game. Yeah, this is probably my best get good game. This is probably the game where I tell people, you know, oh, that game sucks. It's way too hard, and I'm the one that no, then play it better. If you're not good at this game, it's your fault. I truly believe that about this game. An idea years ago, had a link being saved by Kokori. He's found by a Gerudo. It raised alongside Ganon as a Vo. Zelda's. Oh no. Right there. If I just kept walking right there, I run into that bubble, I fall, and I die. And it's all my fault. You have to be careful with this game. It does not care. Oh. Woo! Uh-oh. Wait. Don't throw a boomerang, you jerk. Oh, come on. I have 1 point. Why do people hate Zelda 2? It's, first of all, it's very difficult. For a lot of people, they think that it's very difficult. I still, like I said, I just said, I think that the game is not any more difficult than a lot of other games. But if you don't, right there, if you don't respect it, you die. That's how it works. It's also very different, especially like when it first came out. I remember there being a lot of hate for it, but then as time went on, it still just got worse. You know, this game comes out, it's very different from Zelda 1, and everybody loves Zelda 1, so they're already kind of pissed off. And then Zelda 3 eventually comes out, and it's way better. So it just sort of put it, like, it was very sour. And then you had, you know, then you had the rise of the YouTuber, and the YouTuber started saying stuff about it, and everybody, it kind of just became this echo chamber where everybody just remembered, oh, it was funny because it's funny to hate it. It's like, all right, that's fine, but you're actually kind of missing out on a pretty decent game for its time. I'll take this over Zelda 1. Excited about Jak 2 because the game is pretty hard, but that would be me ignoring its flaws. I'd argue nowadays people don't hate Zelda 2. It's pretty defendant nowadays. Its earnest rep as being hard. Yeah, like I said, nowadays the reputation is turning around for it. This game also reads input and will move enemies according to your input. So neutral inputs confuse it sometimes. Look, I don't hate Zelda 1. I'll take this over Zelda 1. I mean, this is... Would you choose... I have Shadow. Absolutely. And you know what? I know that the me hating Twilight Princess thing is kind of a meme, but I legitimately would. Part of that is just because it's so short, though. Yeah, I don't know. I look at this game and I don't see a game that's any harder than Mega Man. Mega Man 1 specifically. I think 2 was a bit easier, but I don't see a game in this that's any harder than Mega Man 1. And that franchise is very well known, and very people like those games. I don't think the difficulty was too much. I think that the combat was very well done. It's a Metroidvania before a Metroidvania. You know, before we were calling them that. It's a map-based search action game where you find items and you're limited by mobility progression. Like, there's a lot. Everything that we like about those kinds of games is present in this game. It's just, it has a bad reputation. I think that's probably the thing that's hardest for it. I think this is harder than Mega Man, but easier than Ninja Gaiden. You think this is harder than Mega Man 1? Yeah, maybe. Do people actually take your Twilight Princess joke seriously? Some people, Executor, some people are, they're not like, I've had a couple people that think I legitimately, like, I find the game very mid, but I also haven't played it in a very long time. I don't like hate it, right? But I've had people that think that I do. I had someone that said, they basically, well, no, I don't know, Trios. I wouldn't say that. It's because we are in this era, you know, and we've been here forever of this era of like the angry gamer that's really mad at a game, and you don't really know if they're legitimately mad or not. I had somebody that asked, like, I think that they said, they're like, I think the Twilight Princess thing is this a joke that got out of hand. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was never meant to actually be serious. I don't sit there in my living room hating Twilight Princess. I just kind of made a joke about it. See, you say the Aaron Hansen era, and I say the angry video game nerd era. AVGN is the one that really pioneered a lot of that stuff. Stuff like Castlevania 2, right? Stuff like the famous, people famous for hating Castlevania 2, and Castlevania 2 is famous for being hated on, when Castlevania 2 had a ton of problems, but it was AVGN's hate for it that made hating it popular. I mean, don't get it wrong, there are some really bad games out there that he's hated. That Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde game is terrible. There's no salvaging that game. Yeah, AVGN is playing a character more than anything, while Aaron tends to be more himself. The problem there, though, is you're right. You're 100% right. The issue is people don't know it's a joke. Oh, you know what I completely forgot to do? I didn't go to the town. I didn't get the shield spell. I have no magic. I completely forgot to do that. I like Aaron. I'm still a relative fan of the Game Grumps. I know that they always catch a lot of flack. Aaron in particular always catches a ton of flack for his opinions and stuff, but I mean, I definitely think that there's some stuff that's kind of like, that's a little weird. But then there's things that he was right about. There's things, you know, Aaron could see. Yeah, I don't have that sort of hatred for him. I think that he's fine. And like Ryan, you said that AVGN is a character where Aaron is being himself. But Aaron is also a YouTube personality that has to oversell it for a bit, in a way. You know, it would be like somebody coming in here and thinking I really hate Twilight Princess. You know, and I don't think that he's not lying. I think that he's telling the truth when he says he likes or doesn't like something. But he's a YouTuber. Everything's gonna be oversold. I used to be a big North fan, but I feel like Aaron was a bad influence on Teen Me. I don't watch games. I mean, I don't watch them anymore. Every once in a while I'll watch something that has them with it, but that's about it. A lot of the hate videos we used to get for Zelda 2 don't really say untrue things. We just associate a lot of those complaints with so you're saying it's hard. Yeah, because that's kind of what it is. It's a lot of, you know, this game is look, I go up here and then I die. And it's like, all right, hey, well, you... any game where you jumped up there and ran into the enemies, you would probably get killed. Yeah, I completely forgot the shield spell. That's funny. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh, go up. Oh, what? Oh, there's no way I got hit by that. That's so unfair. Uh-oh. The beeps. I love that listen to the music. The beeping takes up one of the sound channels. So So I always notice that. I used to notice that about NES games. The beeping takes up one of the sound channels. So when the beeping is going on, the music is like, it's only half of it. Come on. There you go. Give me another bag or something. I need to power up my sword. Whoa. Come on. Come on, weird Cyclops enemy that sometimes comes back in Zelda games. There we go. Main problem, Aaron, is he legitimately doesn't like being treated like he treats others. You could and should mock games and people as long as they're not him or his friends. Then he thinks it's a problem. Gen 5 low health beeping in Pokemon. Is that what this is? Whoa! Oh, come on. That's useless because I forgot to go and get a spell. Yeah, the soundtrack is great for this game. I love this game. Whoa. Oh, no! No! All right, well, I have full health now. Another thing to remember, all things, taste change. People say, why did they hate this game back then? It's often because most didn't like those kinds of games. I love that. Speaking of Pokemon, or Yu-Gi-Oh! But those kinds of games are more accepted now. Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's kind of the thing that we talk about with, Final Fantasy 13. I feel like the clip didn't show. It didn't show? Interesting. So the audio played. Okay, oh my god. Okay. Have I ever played a Pokemon game? Yes. Whoa. Whoa. Whew. I played. Uh-oh. Ah, crap. Damn it. I usually wait and then I get, here's what I'm gonna do. Ah, I did it anyway. Yeah, okay, here's what I'll do. Just get a life and refill. Just get life and then refill with the crystal. No, because then the crystal will only go up to 100. That's the problem. The crystal's only gonna, through the experience points, it's only gonna go up to 100. If I run through the dungeon again, and I get past, so now I have to get to 150 because 150 is the next life upgrade. And then from 150, when I skip the life upgrade, 1000 will be the next one. It'll always fill up to the next thing. So if you can manipulate it and you can manipulate it and basically get a ton of points. I usually leave, like, I'm not doing it like this right here, where I just farm this guy, these things right here, because they give you 50. They just take a while to kill. That's usually what I do when I'm playing on my own. Right, when I'm not streaming and I'm just trying to, you know, BOP through everything. That's usually what I end up doing. Yeah, I usually leave this dungeon with level 4 sword at least. So yeah, so I'll do that. But yeah, Pokemon games, yes. I played Blue. Alright, so wait, so if I get magic up, the next magic up is 200. What do I have to kill? I have 2 Iron Knuckles, a thingy. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna try and do something. Some of the people were wrong not like this game back then, but while it was a good game, it's not what people wanted back then. And that's fine. It just, it goes back to what we always talk about, where it's a game that you didn't like, but it's not a bad game. I refuse to think that this is a bad game. Oh, Pokemon. So I played Blue back in the day, and then I played it again some years ago. I played White. I played Moon. feel like there's another one. I tried playing Platinum. I wasn't a fan of that game. Can you pick a stat to level up? It's set, sort of. It's not set, but see, yeah, I'm gonna run through again because I don't want to do that. No. So when you get to a certain point, you have to pick the lowest stat. That's when it stops to open up the meter, the window, and you can skip it. You can then go up to the next one. But if you have all three of them, like if you have points for the highest one, you have to pick one of them. You can't just skip and not get a thing. It's kind of a weird system. Grinding in my Zelda? Yeah, I don't normally do it like this. I normally grind by killing the... Because those things also regenerate. That's the thing. So I can kill the little body guy over here. I thought there were more iron knuckles down there. That's why I did that. Did I see the screenshot of early designs when Final Fantasy VII was going to be 2D? I did not see that. I did see a picture of what Tactics was going to look like before they redesigned it for what it was. Lilac, isn't that just a Lundra? Why does that look like it's a Lundra? Yeah, the statue's like, where's this going? Why does it keep coming through here? Yeah, that just looks like a Lundra. Oh, come on. Oh, wait. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so now the next thing is 1,000, and then when I put the crystal, it'll give me 1,000. Or it'll bump me up to 1,000. That's why there are times where I farm this area a lot, and I farm the little skull guys, and then I get the statue when it's 2,000. Alundra. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. That game, it's a good game, but holy smokes, man, that game, I beat that game. That was a game that I got frustrated, and I beat it just to say that I beat it, and I'll probably never play it again. Or I always thought that I would never play it again. I don't know, now that I'm streaming, maybe I'll have to. I was running around and went to see man and fell into... Oh. I was talking about before, the average casual gamer isn't objective. If they don't like a thing, it's bad. Yeah, but we don't want to be that. So I don't like entertaining that idea because we don't want to be that. We don't want to be those people that think that it's bad because we don't like it. No, okay, here's the English version and where the image is from. Final Fantasy Ultimania Archive. Early development screenshot. I mean, that would have been wild. No, you know what would have been wild? Oh, it's easier for them to leave it like that. For long-time gamers, it's harder to accept that as a legit answer. Yeah, because it's not a good answer. You know. I've beaten times, and when I thought I should do another playthrough, like, nah, I'm good. Wait, for which game? For this one? Yeah, it looks like Locke. Oh, Alundra. And Alundra 2 sucked. Why did it suck so bad? Maybe I should play Alundra one day. You guys can see that stuff. I mean, I do have a... You know what's funny? Actually... based on the discussion you guys had on... Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, that looks weird. There. It was before they decided on Cloud's design. Actually, based on the discussion you guys had on the latest SGB video, I personally don't agree with John's idea that you can call a game bad, let alone doing it when you don't finish them. Some people already tried to go to the extremes with. Some people haven't finished Superman 64 like every this like game was legit a bad game. I don't know. I think it's a very nuanced discussion because you don't have to beat Superman 64 to know that it is a bad game. Overall, that it's a bad game. It has bad design. There's bad mechanics. The assets are bad. Like everything about it is bad. And that game doesn't suddenly get better. I think a lot of it has to do with what you base you think it's bad on. If you think it's bad because you don't like, if I said Dark Souls is bad, and you said, why do I think that? And I said, because the combat is slow and blah, blah, blah. And I said all of the things that I always say about Dark Souls. That's just not a game for me. The game is fine. The game functions totally fine. It's just not for me. It's not the kind of game that I like to play. So I can't really say it is a bad game. I can say that it is a game that I don't really like. That bat is doing the worst possible thing it can do. But then like Superman 64 is terrible. Like everything about it, mechanically, all of that, it's a bad game. And I don't need to play the whole thing to know that. The game's not suddenly going to get better. So I think it has to do a lot with why I say it's a bad game. Do I say it's a bad game because technically, from a technical standpoint, everything doesn't function? Yeah, I told you this game reads input. It did everything, Ryan, it did everything wrong. That stupid bat. And then it came back. Yeah, so from a technical standpoint, the game is bad. Sure, you can find enjoyment in it, right? For as many people that bitch about 06, there's people out there that play it multiple times, John. You can find enjoyment in it. I think that it's just a very nuanced discussion because it's a bad game. No, well, I liked it. Okay, well, that's fine. But from a gameplay standpoint, are the things okay? Like, do you like it because it's bad? Because that's another thing that people say. Oh, well, that game is bad. Oh, well, I liked it. Why'd you like it? Because it's so jank, it's funny. It makes me laugh. All right, but that's different, though. That's not that the game is good. That is that the game is bad, and you like it because it's bad. But you're admitting it's a bad game. You know, the Zelda games, the going back to the CDI games, those are bad games. They're mechanically, they don't control very well. They were on a bad system, which wasn't particularly the game's fault, but there's a lot of things that the original CDI versions of those games were bad video games. But you could say that, oh yeah, but we like it. It's memey and it's janky and it's funny. Like, yeah, okay, great. Do you want all your games to be that way? Probably not. You can like 06, but it's a flawed game that was rushed out the door. How we access stuff is super inconsistent in the first place. Yeah, we make exceptions all the time for things we agree are bad. But it's forced myself to get past chapter 2 and then stop. Oh, wait, for which game? The asses. Yeah, I thought, was that supposed to say assets? CDI Zelda is clearly better than Twilight Princess. I mean, even I'm not going that far. Let's easy there. But yeah, I mean, the discussion we were having, there's no way that hit me. The discussion we were having is just the idea of, you know, something that we've talked about here before, which is, you know, if you play a game and you don't like it, when can you say it's a bad game? Like, what do you think is wrong with it? And when are you allowed to stop? You know what I mean? Because people say, oh, I didn't like this game. Oh, well, you just got to play further into it. But at what point are you allowed to say, I played enough to know that I don't like it? Or that it's a bad game? That's why. Because, again, that's the big difference. The big difference is, I think this is a bad video game, and I think this is a fine video game. It's just not for me. That's a big difference, and people don't differentiate that enough. What's the design on your mug? Oh, it's cats. It's all cat faces. I like the one that looks like he's wearing glasses. Octoroks here are gross. They remind me of the little squid guys from Shantae. Jump. Flipped off the camera. All your base are belong to. Isn't that game? Isn't that game on the Sega app on Nintendo now? To be topical the other day, bad voice acting can pull you out unless it's supposed to be intentional. Then you're supposed to not count, as it's annoying because it's supposed to be there. Yeah, Zero Wing, right? Isn't that game's on the app now? Oh, okay. No. I feel a certain disconnection. Hold on. Just like you said, just because you didn't like something doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But the thing that makes the subject nuanced is because people think there's a definitive answer, and that's when that's impossible, since not every game or product is the same. See, I think there actually is, and here's maybe a little. I don't think it's controversial, but ah, damn it, wrong one. Hold on. I do think that there is something that you can say it is definitively a bad game, and that's function. I've said that a dozen times before. It's function. If a game is glitchy, if a game, from a technical standpoint, if the game is terrible, if it controls horribly, if it eats your inputs, if it feels unplayable, if there are elements of the difficulty that are wildly unbalanced, if the game is literally unfinishable. You know, there have been video games where they don't program endings or something, or it's a big giant mess. When that happens, that's not an opinion. That's a bad video game. Superman 64 is you can probably make the argument that it's not the worst thing ever, but that's a bad game. That what was it? The GTA? Yeah, Battletoads 2 players unfinished. That's a bad game. There's no opinion there. That's not well, I liked it. No, it's a bad video game because from a gameplay development standpoint, from a game development standpoint, the game is literally unfinished. That's not a good video game. People beat games? I know. Sometimes I wish I was games. Wait, what did he say? So that muddies the water even harder with rating games objectively, because as we agree, we make so many exceptions that I can get why some people just simplify. I don't like it as bad because actually explain it. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and you're right. That's part of the problem is that who are you having? I mean, you start to dip into a rabbit hole when you start to talk about that stuff, because now you're having a meta conversation, because now you're talking about, well, all right, tell me about the person that I'm having the conversation with. You know, and there's a lot of, that's why I've always said that I think that for game reviewers and stuff, where it comes to like IGN and whatnot, I think that's one important thing that you can do if you want to validate those reviews, if you want people to take them a bit more seriously. I think the best thing you can do is tell me how this reviewer reviewed similar games. You know, I don't need to know that the guy that loves Call of Duty games thinks that Final Fantasy 16 is not a great game. But I would like to know if the person that played the God of War games thinks Final Fantasy 16 is a good game. I would like to know if the person that loves Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth thinks Final Fantasy 16 is a good game. I'd be more interested in their adjacent opinions, maybe? That's like probably a way to say that. Battletoads in general, I hate the game. Age of Tetris, say F you over and over. Because if people go with the logic, if you have fun with the game, then isn't that a good game? It's like, yeah, that's not true. I very much disagree with that. Like the idea that, oh, well, I had fun, so it's a good game. No, it's a bad video game. You just enjoyed it for being a bad video game. It's like movies. It's like, what was that movie, The Room? It's a terrible movie. Just because you get a kick out of watching it, it doesn't make it a good movie. It just means you like watching bad movies. That's the point. The way I say it, it's not just video games, but movies, books. Even food can be definitively bad. But there's no such thing as definitively good games. A definitively bad game, like you said, is just, it does not function at all. It's not playable. But once it meets that standard, then it comes down to opinion. There's games that are 100, yet someone could not get past the tutorial. Either it's too hard or just not their thing. Yeah, and they can say it's a bad game. Yeah, I think for that, it's just a matter of making sure you differentiate that it's a bad game for me. You know, I just didn't like it. It wasn't my cup of tea. It functioned well. You know, it was responsive. Like, I think all of that's fine. But, you know, in the end, some games are just not for people. But it's intentionally bad, so it's good because it does that very well. Yeah, but if you do bad well, are you doing good or bad? Right? Now we're getting into a philosophical discussion. I literally think that becomes a philosophical discussion when you ask a question like that. I put the page and a few other things for early Final Fantasy VII development. Inside chat, did you know the limit was on the right? Wait, was on the right originally, and they played with having a grapple command. Wait, the limit was on the right? Wait, what do you mean that? What do you mean by that? The limit break gauge. Oh, like on the side of the screen? That's interesting. Come on, I don't have any. Oh wait, yes I do. And thus the rabbit hole grows, because that's my point with bad grading voice acting. Yeah, it's like it's bad, but it's meant to be bad, but it's hokey. I mean, I've said that before. One of my biggest problems. Actually, I can actually give you a prime example of that. Not prime. Resident Evil 1. I've often said that Resident Evil 1, like, it's supposed to play out like a cheesy horror movie. That's great. In the sense of playing out like a cheesy horror movie, they did a very good job. Here's the problem. I don't find it funny, and it's not what I wanted out of that experience. So they did that fine. It was intentional, but it was intentionally bad and cheesy and ridiculous. Ow. Ow. I hope that's not Chris's blood. Like, that's bad. That's cheesy voice acting. Sure, it's intentional, but it still takes you out of it. And that's the thing, is that for Resident Evil in particular, I think that's what kind of killed it for me back then. Because it's funny, but it takes you out of it. Symphony of the Night, you know, die, monster. You don't belong in this world. The problem is, you go through just a few things, and then you don't hear voice acting anymore. Yeah, or I would say the good thing about Symphony of the Night. You know, it's not like you're hearing that kind of cheesy voice acting the whole time. And to be honest, most of that was Richter. Because all the Alucard voice lines are great. What is it you want? You didn't come here to tell me that. Richter. Oh, wait, Richter and Chris Redfield are the same? Are they really? Oh, brother. Woo! That explains a lot. Did anybody tell him that he doesn't have to ham it up every time? That's funny. I didn't know that. Who is it? Same guy, and I can never unhear it. Mortal Kombat 4. Would I sound like a dick if I say it? I usually say, enjoy that which interests you and enjoy it. Play it if you want to play. No, you're fine. That's definitely true. But, Aram, the reason a lot of this stuff matters is because I'm not going to ask you your financial situation, but I'm going to give you a rhetorical question. Do you have the ability to buy every single game that you might have a passing interest in? Not everybody does. They want opinions. They want to know, this game came out. Do I think that it might be interesting? So they go. That's why people bitch about reviews and stuff, and they're like, reviews don't mean anything. But hearing about a game and trying to understand whether or not you want to buy it is kind of important. Scott McCullough. Oh. So I'm getting annihilated here because I need more health. Ow. Too much water. 5 out of 10. IGN. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dead. Someone does explain their reasons for disliking a game. Now we fall into how we feel about those points. Because many of the things they don't like may not be that bad to me. Here's the problem with earlier. CDI or Wii U, which will have a worse legacy? CDI. CDI will have a significantly worse legacy. Absolutely. The Wii U has a bad reputation, but even at the height of the Wii U's bad reputation, people knew that the games were good. Yeah, so the CDI is always going to have a worse reputation. You just need to get good and understand the mechanics and respect the game. I don't know, Dragoon. Dragoon, I'm worried that you're looking at the most hostile versions of that, because part of what you're saying there is like, but then somebody will argue a different point, and it's like, yeah, but that's what a discussion is. You know, sure, people are going to take it too far, but if somebody says that they don't like a game for a specific reason, and then somebody else says, well, I like it for this other reason, I don't really think that there's this idea that they're automatically being hostile, and maybe they're just having a conversation. When I say that I like a game and you guys say that you don't like a game, or vice versa, none of us are being hostile towards each other. I'm just having a conversation. That's all I want to do. So yeah, I don't know. I can't. At the same time that I understand what you're trying to say, that the idea of pointing it out every time is kind of like, but that's just a conversation. That's just how that works. People are already trying to reform the reputation of the Wii U, even though it's still a bad system with a mostly bare library. I mean, I feel like there's a few ways to look at the Wii U. Do you think the Wii U... Let me ask you something. Let me ask you guys this. So it's shifting gears here for a second. Because that's what we do here. Do you think the Wii U was a bad system? Not the library. Not the library. Do you think that the Wii U was a bad system? I'm not talking about the library. As a piece of hardware, do you think it was a bad system? I hated the tablet. I never had a Wii U. Bad system, nice library. I'll argue that I don't think the Wii U is a bad system. It's a failed system for sure. But I think the ultimate issue was poor launch. Yeah, see, that's where I am, Lilac. How are we judging the system? As a piece of tech, as a strength system, as a gimmick, you know, the tablet, like Sally said, the tablet is the real problem there, right? And again, I've often said that I don't think that the tablet inherently is a problem. I think that the reliance on it and the need for it, the necessity of it, is the problem. I don't mind that the tablet exists if you just made a bunch of games that didn't use the tablet, but they all use the tablet. So annoying. Yeah, as a piece of hardware, I think that the system itself was relatively decent. I think it was adequately powered. I think if it got more years out of it, they would have really understood what was really good about the system. The tablet was probably a bad gimmick, I think. And again, if it was just a gimmick, that would be fine, but it was a mandatory thing. And that was the big problem with that. The real problem of the Switch... oh my god, I can't believe the real problem with the Wii U, like Lilac said, it was the advertising and stuff. It was just the weird lack of support and lack of major franchises and the confusing nature of the advertising in the beginning. Like, there's a lot of stuff that was wrong with the Wii U that wasn't the Wii U's fault. It was people behind the scenes. So yeah, I'll always defend it for that. As a piece of hardware, I think it was fine. The library was great. I do think that the library was really good for the system. I also think, though, that there were a lot of things that weren't there. I think that was the big... If I was going to complain about anything with the system, it's that there's a lot of stuff that should have been on that system and wasn't there. So it was hard to really get attached to it. You know, I didn't get a Wii U until... Oh my god, I used the shield on the wrong screen. You say the gamepad is mandatory, but a lot of games did support the Pro Controller. Yeah, a lot of them did. There were a handful of games. Not a handful. I would say that there's a lot. There were a good amount of games that were Pro Controller support. The problem is there were a lot that it was very mandatory, or it was at least very driven to use it. And then they sold it. Again, if you sell the system with a Pro Controller and you make the tablet a thing that you can buy, I think the system does much better. I think it does way better. I think you needed to use the gamepad for the VC game. I don't think so. Ah. Living in an echo chamber is never healthy for anyone. Results in being disconnected from reality. And there are trios. There are some people out there that are disconnected. Wii U is good for one thing. Games that don't own yet on Switch. My games and my GameCube games. Yeah, I think it's a piece of hardware. I think it was a great system. As a library, I think it was a good system. I just think it was missing a lot of stuff. It was mired by a bunch of other problems. It never had a chance to properly get off the ground. How do you feel about this kind of thing? It's playing for Devil's Advocate. More to play Devil's Advocate to see how difficult and consistent ratings can be. Even 16.7R, things got pretty heated because of how much those things matter. Then the question falls into correlation. Wouldn't the bad marketing be related to the product being bad? No. You can have to the point where they didn't know how to sell it. No. You can have a fantastic product and sell it to the wrong people. You can have a fantastic product and not tell everybody about how great it is. If I have this thing, right? I have this wonderful thing, and this thing is incredible. It's so powerful. It's such a great piece of technology. It's the best video game system you have. And I tell you constantly, all the time, in every piece of advertising, in every piece of media, in every interview that I do, I tell you how amazing the spoon is. You'll never know how great the cup is. You'll never understand why you need to buy the cup. Because I will go on and on about the spoon to the point where you think that you can buy the spoon separately. And that's not the case. And that's what happened with the Wii U. That was the problem, is that it's not a question of they didn't show you how great the system was. It's the fact that they constantly told you about how great the gamepad was. And then by the time it really got off, I mean, I'm dead serious when I say that. I saw the gamepad 100 times before I ever saw the system. I didn't know there was a box. I thought the gamepad was some sort of controller add-on for the Wii. And I'm in the know. I like video games. And I like video game stuff and news. And I wasn't entirely sure. The reveal, the first thing they showed was the gamepad, right? Yeah. Okay, down. There you go. Yeah, that was the problem. So no, I don't think it has anything to do with the system being bad. I think it was all the advertising. As a piece of tech, it was fine. It's better to ask Sony about the Vita. Yeah, look at the Vita. PS3 in your pocket. Sony just dropped the ball. Yeah, the Vita, to this day, the Vitas are expensive to buy. Because in some form or fashion, they are a good piece of technology. But it died. Over here anyway. I don't know how well or not well it did in Japan, but over here it died. Because they didn't advertise it. I'm gonna say yes, it was a bad system. because its design flaws made it really hard to make the hardware work well, and thus software also suffered from it. Definitely has a lot of things that make it a purchase people don't regret making, but the design flaw. That's a good point, AGM. That's actually a good point. I mean, we're kind of saying, you know what? You know where we're seeing that right now, AGM? We're seeing that with Xbox. Look at this whole thing that's happening with the Marvel vs. Capcom. Apparently, that has raised a bunch of eyebrows for the Marvel Capcom thing, because what's it called? It's like MT something. Like, it has to do with like why Marvel vs. Capcom isn't coming to the Xbox. It's like some development thing is very difficult for them to do. The MTV? No, it's not MTV. MT Framework, thank you. Yeah, that's the same problem. Where from a technical standpoint, the system should be fine, except it's so difficult to develop for that the companies don't want to do it. Yeah, I was like, Kia, you know what got me? You did the capital letters kind of different. Matt Casey has made a video about the Wii U tablet that explains a lot of interesting faults, like how I mentioned they're region locked and they're a pain in the butt to link up a new tablet to your current console. I think he fixed that issue was through modding. And yeah, I mean, that's, if anything, we talk about game preservation, and that's so funny because what happens when your gamepad breaks? If I went to go play my Wii U right now and my gamepad battery exploded inside and it damaged my whole gamepad physically, what can I do? Because don't you need the gamepad to do some of the setup stuff? Ow. Yar. Can you though? Is there a gamepad of the Caribbean out there that you can buy? Used to be able to get it played by Nintendo. Yeah, you cannot use the Wii U without the gamepad. You can't set it up. So you'd be stuck. You'd be stuck without a system that works. It's the One Piece. Yeah, that's not real. Come on. We're trying to have a conversation here. That's not real. If I remember right, the MT framework is that Xbox users was outdated. Wouldn't that make it easier to use? The setup required to use the gamepad because the screen says use the gamepad to continue. That's right. Yeah, I hate this background. It like, I looked away for a second, Lilac, and then out of the corner of my eye, I thought I was going backwards. There was a Wind Waker edition of the Wii U, gold lining on the gamepad. Yeah. Hey, Blue Wild Wolf, what's going on? It was an okay system. I found the One Piece. It's just muffled typing. I don't know how that works, but. Whoa. Now. Oh, you have the Wind Waker Wii U? Hold on. Oh, yeah. I cracked my back. I own that gamepad. I love it. To much extent, that's how a lot of Atari systems are useless without the official controllers, which barely worked in the first place. I mean, any system. Here's the thing: any system is like you say. You say that it's useless without the Atari controllers. But the Atari controller port was the same as the Genesis port. I believe you can plug a Genesis controller into your Atari. I think it actually works. I have 3 Wind Waker copies. What do you mean 3 Wind Waker copies? Of the system or the game? I think you can. I know it is the same port. I forget the name of the port. Yeah, only some models. But I mean, every system, every video game system needs a controller. So the idea that, well, it's unplayable without a controller is every system. But the point is, and here's the other point. I can go online right now and buy an Atari controller. I can go and buy a joystick, and it works. I can't go and, as far as I understand, I can't buy a gamepad. That's a big piece of technology. Yes is all I will say. You know. And you can also plug your Atari controller into a Genesis, but you can only play games like Sonic that use one button. So yeah, but the point is that the point with that is that there is a solution. There's no solution for the gamepad problem. Oh, slow down. Yeah, my issue with the NES is that it needs a TV screen. Like, there's always going to be some sort of technical problem like that. I don't work around through Xbox One's framework and then port it to the X Series XS, but MS took the whole next gen only literally too hard. They demanded devs to work on an SX pipework, which is not compatible unless you make the Switch PS. Well, isn't that how the PlayStation version of the Marvel collection is going to be? That it's basically just a PS4 game. Yeah, it's a PS4 game. Like, it's not made for PS5 or anything. You can get third-party stuff. More ideally, without the controller, you can't set up the system. But that's every system. That's every system. My problem is every system has a solution. I can go and I can get other controllers. I can get off-brand controllers. The Wii U is unusable. There is no solution. And again, a third party is going to figure that out. But it's a shame that a third party has to figure out that for such a significant problem. The only solution to the gamepad was to make it essentially a second TV like the Switch. But by doing that, you're downplaying the system's compatibility since the gamepad takes priority. My tummy's rumbly. Must have been something I ate. What time is it? 51? Alright, we're good. We'll beat this dungeon and that'll be it. My plan was to start this really early. By the way, technically apologize for starting late today. My plan was to start early, like the 2 o'clock stream, and then we were going to talk for a little bit and then play this, and I was probably going to beat this today. But I ended up having to start really late because some other stuff came up, so I had to take care of that. So we did the 4 o'clock stream. Ow! I always get stuck right there. Tablet for the Wii U did the same thing. Touchscreen does with the Switch. It's there and it was used by some, but ultimately most didn't utilize it well or at all. It was usually just relegated to menus and maps. And the problem there is that, all right, well, let's say, oh, we did a lot more with the gamepad. All right, well, now you made it completely reliant. Because wasn't that the Star Fox problem? Where it's like, oh, it uses the gamepad a lot more. Great, it's completely reliant on the gamepad. Double bubble. Which way am I going? I have to go this way. How dare you have things to do? Yeah, I had to go and get some stuff, and then I had the gym. Gym's been kind of weird. The gym's been like oddly crowded lately. It's getting on my nerves. I wish people should go back to being unhealthy. Watching someone play Star Fox Zero was fun. I never played it. I never actually... I was like, eh. No. Zelda 2 is better than Super Mario 2. Tough. Anything you're keeping an eye out at TMG? Not really. Maybe a PSP 3000. That's about it. I don't think there's any games or anything that I'm really looking for. PS4 stuff. Like, I wouldn't mind some PS4 stuff. Maybe if I can find a couple of cheap PS5 games, I think that'll be okay. Collections. I like collections. I looked it up on the Nintendo site. If the tab is broken, they say, oh. Nope. They say you can request repair still or replacement, but it no longer covered in warranties. You can get one from a secondhand store like a pawn shop, flea market, or secondhand gaming store, which I feel like I've never seen one of those separate. And so let's go this and I know my favorite random Game Pass feature was. I use it as a mini portable Wii, complete with a sensor bar. I used to use it for Netflix, so we could watch something like a DVD, and then I could watch Netflix on the gamepad. That's what I used to use it for. See, and then now it'll go up to the next sword. Thoughts on the amiibo craze? That's fine. I don't mind. I like amiibos. I think that they're adorable. Hold on. I got a bunch of save points there. All right. Unfortunately, I have to cut it really short because I gotta go. I think I gotta go to the restroom. So we're just gonna cut it short. I'm sorry. But thank you so much, everybody, for stopping in, for hanging out. Very, very, very much appreciate it. Tomorrow, Community Day, be tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. or so. So hopefully everybody will be here for that. I think we'll probably just play Mario Party or something. We'll figure something out because it's going to be the last stream for a week. So that's going to be tomorrow morning. For right now, though, I'm going to send you over to Caddy. Cat Icarus is streaming. So stick around after the credits, and I will send you over there to hang out and represent us very well. But thank you once again, everybody, for stopping in and for hanging out. Let me actually get the raid ready here. Okay. But thank you once again, everybody, for stopping in and for hanging out. Don't forget to drink your mask, wear your water, social distance whenever possible. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And I will see you all tomorrow.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe.